So today I want to touch on some historical discoveries and how they might match with Revelation 11. I'm sorry, Revelation 8. And we're going to look at Yehoshua 6. That's right. Yehoshua is the name, not Joshua. And I want to look at just a couple of lines in Yehoshua 6 so that we can get a little bit more of an open mind concerning the 7 seals and the 7 trumpets. And of course, right here it says Yehoshua, not Joshua. All right? Now, when they were going to go and take the city Jericho, the accursed city, which incidentally represents the accursed city, Babylon, and also Rome, in the last days. Now, what they were going to do is Yehoshua rose up early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of Jehovah. The 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of Jehovah went on continually blowing with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them to gather. Came after the ark of Jehovah, the priests going on blowing with the trumpets. Okay? So that was the first day. And there was a second day they encompassed the city once and returned to the camps. And they did that for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, they rose up early about the dawning of the day and encompassed the city about the same manner 7 times in one day. Now, as I've said long ago in previous videos, that I believe. Am I saying that I know it's true? No, I've said I believe that most of the 7 seals and most of the 7 trumpets have already sounded. Now, I may have a little bit more proof. Now, what I'm getting at when I'm talking about this scripture here, remember, a longer period of time, the 6 trumpets. All right? And then, on the 7th day, they went around the city 7 times blowing the trumpets. So everything they received, the city received, in the previous 6 days, they received all of it again on the 7th day, on the last day. Now, if plagues followed each one of those trumpet sounds, let's just do it, what if, of the days before, then, this is in theory, then on the 7th day, all the same plagues would come all at once on the last day. You see where I'm going with this? Let's look at Revelation 8. Now, before I do that, we'll look at this, the seals real quickly. All right. And you'll see that the 6th seal is the great day of Jehovah's wrath. That's in the last days. The other seals were not. This one is the day that, towards the end of it, that Jehovah comes, and also the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? This is the reason why I'm fairly convinced that the 7 seals happen in the 7 trumpets. Now, here's what I want to do. You can see in my little tabs, 536 AD, the year that the sun disappeared. What? Does any of the trumpet sounds actually say that? It is not the year. It was 2 years. But in this video, there was a historian who had written a couple of things that happened in this event. And one of those was that the sun, in the Mediterranean area, Rome, only shone 4 hours a day. All right. 4 hours a day. So let's go back to Revelation 8. We're going to look at one of these trumpet sounds. And we're going to go and see where, look for where the sun didn't shine. And lo and behold, here it is. The 4th messenger sounded, and the 3rd of the sun was smitten. Now, if you listen to the video all the way through, you have to filter out the conjecture, the falsehood, and use the brain that Jehovah gave you to find the truth. And you will see that the sun was dimmed, and you will also see that there was only 4 hours a day of the sun in the summertime. What does that translate to? Look, a 3rd part of the sun was smitten, and the 3rd part of the moon, and the 3rd part of the stars, so that the 3rd of them was darkened, and the day shone not except for a 3rd part of it. So, 4 hours a day times 3 is what? 12 hours. Well, on the average between summertime and wintertime, you're going to get more hours in the summertime and less hours in the wintertime, but on the average, you're going to get 12 hours of sunlight a day. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4 hours. Let's listen to it.
Rome had been sacked 100 years earlier by Huns and Goths, but now the empire was resurgent with a new capital in Constantinople. Once again, it was the center of Mediterranean culture. By contacting classical scholars, Keyes unearthed many highly significant Roman accounts of bizarre weather. One eyewitness, a Syrian bishop, John of Ephesus, describes the extraordinary events during the years 535 and 536 AD.
There was a sign from the sun, the like of which had never been seen or reported before.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Extraordinary events during the years
Let's listen to it again. Sorry, I coughed.
536 AD.
There was a sign from the sun.
There was a sign from the sun. Okay? He says there was a sign from the sun. Revelation 8. And the fourth messenger sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten. The third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, and so the third part of them were darkened, and the day shone not for the third part of it, and night likewise. Alright. The night likewise thing, I'm not sure. See if it says likewise. In like manner, yeah. But since we're not living back then, we only have people's historical recollections, and not that many. We don't have much to work with, but we do have something to work with here.
The like of which had never been seen or reported before.
So he said the like of which had never been seen or recorded before.
The sun became dark, and its darkness lasted for 18 months.
Okay. He said the sun became dark, and the darkness lasted for 18 months. That's nearly 2 years. What is that, a year and a half, I believe? Something like that. Yeah. Year and a half.
Each day it shone for about 4 hours.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Each day the sun shone for 4 hours.
And still, this light was only a feeble shadow.
And the light was only but a shadow. But it was barely cast a shadow. So what we're seeing here is this event is eerily similar to the fourth trumpet sound. And I want to request, again, I requested somebody or people to find out what the colors were that turned out to be the ribbon of St. George, and I really appreciate somebody helping to find this information. Once again, in this particular video, it talks about raining blood and ice. Now, I've lost that, and if somebody would, if any of you who are watching this video, my YouTube video, if you will watch this video that I'm posting here, 536 AD, the year that the sun disappeared, and I've listened to a lot of it, but I don't have time to listen to the whole thing. I will listen to the whole thing later, but I did find bits and pieces of things, of evidence here. But in this particular video, it talks about raining ice and blood. Also in this video, it talks about in the days of King Arthur, how King Arthur died right after, apparently in 539. And the British recollection of events was that many blows came from the sky. So that's not one plague, but multiple. And the trumpet sounds are actually blows, as in the Old English translation. So let's continue to listen.
Everyone declared that the sun would never recover its full light again.
So he said everyone declared that the sun would never recover its full light again. All right, now they went to looked through Chinese history, and they found the same thing. So it was, this event was the whole world over. So, in this particular video, they're trying to find out what caused it. Was it an asteroid or was it volcano? Well, they could find evidence of neither. Now, I'm currently looking at where they're looking at the polar ice caps. But they did have a theory that the asteroid may have blew up before it struck the Earth. And that would have made it so that, how do I say this, the impact didn't make a great big crater. Now, if we go to the first trumpet sound, it says, the first messenger sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. That sounds like an asteroid exploding in the atmosphere. That's what it sounds like. If you watch the whole video, I think you're going to come to the same conclusion. But these people in this video, they're looking at, was it an asteroid or was it a volcano? Who says it can't be both? Because, as you can clearly see in the second, this appears to be an asteroid blowing up in the Earth's atmosphere, not making a direct impact, but blowing up in the Earth's atmosphere. Now, I wanted to mention so I did a little Google search real quick. Watch this. Is there ice in an asteroid? Some asteroids are known to have contained ice within their rocky structure. So exploding with fire and ice, right? Hail, that's ice, and fire mingled with blood. And in that video, somewhere in that video, it rained blood. That's what they said. Alright, so the second messenger sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. Well, that's a volcano. A burning mountain is a volcano. That does not take any geniusness to figure that out at all. And it does appear that these four came in very quick succession. So, this event that occurred, what was it? 535 and 536 may have been caused by both the asteroid and the mountain burning with fire, the volcano. And then the third messenger sounded, and there fell a great star from the sky, burning like a lamp, and it fell upon a third part of the rivers and upon the fountain of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. The third star is water became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. And then you have the third part of the sun was smitten. I believe these first four trumpet sounds began what they call the Dark Ages, and there's not a whole lot that they have to work with to find out just exactly what happened there. But I think there is enough evidence to show when they said, when this John of Syria, in his recorded events, showed that the sun only shone 4 hours a day, when you average it up, that is a third part as it's written here. Third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them were darkened, so they were darkened. The sun was darkened. So it barely even, it said it didn't even hardly cast a shadow. And the day shone not for the third part of it, and night likewise. I don't know what it means by night likewise. I might know in the future. What I'm saying is this. Do not be foolish and think that all the seals and that all the trumpet sounds are yet to come. You have no evidence that that idea is so. In fact, there's more evidence that many of the trumpet sounds have already came and went. I've always wondered why in the very, very last days it is written, so it was as in the days of Noah. Men were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, and did not know. Well, if it was 535, 536, men actually believed that the world was coming to an end. But at the time of the end, they're not going to even know or even believe it. Things will be so normal. And it's because people don't read history that they don't know. I can barely, just barely myself, make the connection with the 535, 536 events and the first 4 trumpet sounds. But there is a connection. I have proven to you today that there is a connection. Am I saying that the evidence is absolute proof? No, I'm not. I'm just saying there is a connection. And it says, as in the days of Lot, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. Now, also in the days of Lot, well, I have a neighbor pulling up and I'm about to finish it up. In the days of Lot, his wife didn't want to leave the city, didn't believe it was going to collapse. She was consumed by the Sodom and Gomorrah of the day. So I want you to, if you don't mind, study that video and other videos like it. I want to find out where that raining blood where it is, okay?